Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, Mumford & Sons, Rushmere, and that show. Be at that this Saturday night for the premiere of the album with our listeners, and they'll get to meet the band. So happy we got to take care of you on this. But before we move forward to some wild local stories, we have to pour one out this morning.
How do I say goodbye?
For the Cubs season.
Oh.
They just lost 4-1 to the Dodgers over in Japan. The game just ended a few minutes ago, so they are 0-1 on the season.
Great. My husband's going to be in an awesome mood today.
You know what? Go to Arby's instead, Kenzie. Don't go home.
I know. I'm just going to sit at Arby's. I have a long season ahead of me.
I've told you before, you need more time alone to just sit in a parking lot. Today would be a good day to do that.
Yep. Another game tomorrow at 5:10 a.m. So, hey, there's always tomorrow.
Always tomorrow. Then, Brian, what are we doing on Friday, April 4th during the Cubs home opener?
Well, we are broadcasting live from Almost Home Tavern, one of our fave spots on the north side. We did it last year. We're doing it again. 6 to 10 a.m., a full broadcast, tons of free stuff for you and prizes on the Cubs home opener, which will be against the Padres 120 on April 4th. It's kind of weird. They're going to finish this Japan series, then come back here, chill out for a little bit, start the season, and then do the home opener on Friday, April 4th. We'll see you then. Okay, the season's not over. Good Lord. Fine. Season's not over.
We had our home opener, bro.
Good Lord.
It's going to be a funeral that day.
It's not over. It's not over. What is over is a Chicago Heights crematory because of the mishandling of remains of deceased people.
And just to explain, it's not an ice cream shop because you said it sounded very crematory. You hit cream real hard.
Am I saying that right? Crematory?
Yeah, but I think it's like crematory, like really fast. Like you're like creamatory.
Well, I do like ice cream when mishandling remains of people.
It sounded delicious.
Guilty.
This is actually a terrible story for the families. A couple of these stories are just off the wall today in our local stories. And Kenzie's been following this with her Kenzie Crime Brain on this one because this has been a story that's been going for a little while about the mishandling of it, of people, of deceased people. And now it looks like it's going to get shut down by the state down in Chicago Heights. So it's suspended their license to do what they do. And now pretty much will be closed down. Some people said when I saw the pictures, I felt that our dog got a more dignified treatment in death than these people did.
Now, I don't know. Do you have it up, Brian, about what they were doing or no?
If you want to share more than I have here, then go for it.
And I only have so much information because it has, at first it was just like, oh, bodies were found not being treated right, and now it's closing. So I think there's going to be a lot more that comes out. But it's like they even had like kind of like trailers and like sheds in the back and stuff like that. They were storing like bodies in them. Like they weren't like up to date on like the cremation process. And I mean, it's like literally like they went in these trailers and stuff, like storage sheds, whatever you want to call them, in the back facility. Yeah. And there were just like bodies laying around. Now, it was horrible.
What I try to look at, and it's the Heights Crematory, by the way, which they have delicious ice cream there. Good soft serve. And
a little banana split action.
You just hit the word. You weren't wrong. You just hit cream really hard. That's all.
So is it crematory? Crematory.
It's crematory, but you were like crematory.
Well, I don't understand it as I sit here and think about it. The people who run the Heights Crematory, what's the benefit? Like, why don't you just burn, because you cremate people, why don't you just, just take care of it? What's the problem? What's holding on to them, Do they get money out of that, you think?
It is so weird because we've covered a story like this, and it was about 2 years ago. I think it was in Indiana, though. And it was another, cremation spot that was doing the same thing. Like, they were backed up on bodies, and so they were being stored horribly. And it was just, it's tragic for those families, right, that are trying to, have a peaceful, place for their significant others to rest or, their loved ones. And I said the same thing because it's like, why?
What's the holdup?
Yeah, and I feel like it's almost in a weird way. It's just it's like a scam or it's like laziness because you're collecting the money and you're not doing the job. Right? And you're being irresponsible because it's probably a lot of work. So you're taking on business and you're not fulfilling your end of it. So it is weird because like, hey, just do it. And me, I see it as legit laziness and almost a scam because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're just like sitting around, but you're collecting the money.
I mean, we're pretty close to summer barbecue season, okay?
I don't know where the hell that's going with what we're what are you going to say?
Well, I'm inviting you and your families over to my house for a barbecue for the Weber, on the Weber grills. I'm a master. I'm a grill master, okay? Now, I will start the brats and the burgers and the chicken a little bit before you get there. I'm going to monitor all you guys. You got to find my phone. I want to know your arrival time exactly.
And what kind of seasonings are you using?
Oh, I've got the Gibson steak seasoning. I put that on chicken too. It's delicious, even on brats.
Wow.
And then your burger or chicken or brat will be ready when you get there. And then, of course, I'm going to throw some more on quickly because I know Case is going to want more than one.
Yeah, you know my fat ass.
Again, he's just really coming for you today, Case.
What I'm saying is you can't stop the process. And these are people, these are loved ones that are sitting there. Why don't they just keep the oven fired up and keep it going, the crematory, with
Well, I
the
don't know
soft
exact-
serve?
I'd imagine that it's a different process than brats. I don't know.
I don't know
never
either.
done it.
I don't know either.
I think it's a different process. And again, it's a legit laziness. I would imagine it's harder work. So you probably have to do a lot of body prep, and then you're supposed to store the ashes. Like, you're supposed to do all these things. So it's really, I think, a scam because you can obviously charge people so much money for this because people pay a lot of money for, the aftercare of their loved ones, and then
Sure.
you're just not doing it.
We got a really ominous text from 815. It says, there's a lot of money in the body business.
Yeah.
Now,
there you go.
you can't sell kidneys or livers or organs from a person that's passed. Although, if you donate your body, like you can donate your eyes to somebody that can see, maybe they're doing that on the dark web because Kenzie lives on the dark web.
Can you donate
I don't
eyes?
live there. What does that mean? Wait a minute.
Remember when you got suspended by the company for going to the dark web?
I just said I don't know how to get there, so I typed in darkweb.com and then I got in trouble.
You got big trouble. Steve, our IT guy, sent an all caps email saying, do not go on the dark web
It
during
went
the
to
show.
everybody, but it was very specific about who did it.
Oh, it wasn't all company, all staff.
My bad.
To your point, Case, yes, you can. Are you an organ donor?
Yes, I am an organ donor, and I judge people that are not organ donors.
Kenzie, are you an organ donor?
Yeah, I'm an organ donor. What do I care? What am I going to use it for?
I weirdly don't believe Kenzie. I don't think she's an organ donor.
Why?
I feel like
You just said you don't like people who aren't, and then I bet Kenzie's not. Do you realize how rude that is?
I just feel like you want your organs.
No, what am I going to use them for? I don't care. You can have them now. I don't even care. Whatever.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Kenzie's crime's on the way, not involving the crematory in Chicago Heights, but another breaking local story that you probably saw across your timeline yesterday if you watched the news. A Downers Grove South teacher was charged and accused of sexually abusing a 15-year-old boy. This is a woman, Christina Formella, who's 30 years old. She was taken into custody Sunday during a traffic stop, and she's facing 3 sexual abuse charges for allegations involving a 15-year-old boy. The investigation began Saturday after the boy, who was 15 at the time, went to the police station with the mother to report the sexual conduct committed by her. I believe it was found because the kid needed a new phone. When they went to change over everything to the new phone on the cloud, the texts came up. So
Oh my gosh.
I believe there's evidence that way of texts that happened. We'll find out a lot more of the story as it goes
Not
along.
that I wish she was better at committing this crime, but why would you text it?
Well,
Not that I want to give her pointers, but you know what I mean?
It's very funny, yes.
Well, here's a question. If you delete a sent text, is it still on the cloud?
No, but you should have never sent the text.
Oh,
Like,
I
it
see
should
what you're
never
saying.
have been. What are you doing?
Got it.
Brian's trying to figure out how to skirt around this. The answer
Yeah.
is don't send the text.
Again, I don't want anyone to get a pointer right now. Well,
Yeah.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
I guess the lesson is don't be a scumbag. I got
Yeah.
it. I didn't think that was the route you were going. I was trying to be a scumbag and get away with it somehow. It's a terrible story. She was a soccer coach and she was a tutor at the time. And according to police, she'd been a volunteer soccer coach for both boys and girls since 2021. So she was at the school for a while, like 4 years. It wasn't like a new person coming in. And they believe this happened in 2023 in a classroom for tutoring session before school began, where she had contact with the boy. And now she's been arrested. Now, here's a quote from her. Says she denied having sex with the minor and claimed, quote, everybody comes after her because she's good looking. And she's just a good person who cared too much about the boy. In parentheses, the court documents, that's what they say in this situation.
Cared a lot about him.
Yeah.
Lots of care.
All these situations are gross, no matter what. I
Yes.
think there's always that guy will say, well, he probably, high
We
five with his
literally
dad.
already have one of the texts. Where was this teacher when I was not good? He got sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
So
And she is attractive. I'll just say that. She is at 30 years old, and the kid was 15. But all you got to do is think about it the other way. If it was a male teacher and it was a 15-year-old girl, how would you feel then?
grooming exists. It's inappropriate. It's not okay. Vice versa, flip-floppy, not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And-
And I feel like, and I think Case will agree with me.
Well, she says I won't agree with. Well, wait a minute.
I don't know. 'Cause I don't-
Wait a minute.
You're always like on a different thing.
What you got for me, Kenzie?
Wait, how do I delete
Okay.
those texts?
Mute Brian's microphone for a second. No. So teachers, like good teachers who are in it to teach, are saints. They're amazing. What I'm about to say is more of a one-off, kind of like this scenario.
Kenzie's about to
Okay.
hit teachers with a but.
Pero,
This one was a bitch.
but there's, when you go to especially when you get to the high school range, because I feel like this doesn't happen too much younger. When you're in the high school range, like this kid was 15, and there's the quote unquote hot teacher, male or female, right? Every once in a while, one of those teachers likes that too much.
Sure.
And they play into it. I had a female English teacher, and I felt like she would do certain things that was obviously going to provoke that commentary. I felt like she would highlight that commentary, and I'm like, you are way too excited that 16-year-olds are interested in you. It gives you the heebie-jeebies.
And
Yes, Case.
it's especially weird because when you're on the younger end of it, when you're a student, and I can only speak from my experience. I don't want to project on everybody else, but there were attractive teachers in my high school, and when you're 15 or 16, you earnestly believe, I think I could get this 30-year-old to sleep with me. This is in the realm of possibility. You're not realizing that with the older perspective that you have, it's creepy in every sense. It's illegal, it's wrong, it's awful. But if you're a teacher feeding into that, especially, then it's really, really gross because the younger people don't have the perspective of, not being an adult and realizing that it's horrible.
Wait, which part of this wouldn't have I agreed with, Kenzie?
I think you also like attention from anybody who thinks you're attractive. So
Well,
it's like,
that's
I don't know what you're
correct.
talking about.
Okay, I'm going to take that then. Good, thank you. You're right. I mean, listen, human nature, and everybody had a teacher that was, oh my God, she or he is hot. And there's that weird vibe that goes on there. And you're right. I think some teachers do like the attention that way. And it doesn't go to this level, of course. It doesn't go to this psychopathic level where you're abusing somebody, but it's just also a weird vibe because some teachers are 21 or I shouldn't say 21, but 23, and then some kid is 18. If it's not that far apart.
But it's still an authority position.
Yeah,
you
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's not right.
It's
not right
not.
at all.
It even because sometimes it's well, they're 18. It's no, and you shouldn't be if you're somebody interested in somebody the day they turn 18, you should also be arrested because they weren't 18 yesterday. Not good.
Yeah.
Well, Kayla brings up on the text line, and she's so right. There was that Downers Grove North gym teacher that married a student right after she graduated. What is in the water in Downers Grove?
I don't know. But
Wow.
Yeah, let that sink in, Kenzie.
is there a
Did
downer?
they solve their job?
I don't believe so.
That would
Nuh-uh.
be. I really hope not.
Is Downers Grove Confessions coming to HBO soon?
Yeah, I think that's the new series for the fall. The big hit.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We have some Black Keys tickets coming up. We made that announcement yesterday for that show, and we'll have those tickets coming up at the end of Music and Entertainment News. Well, we are about an hour away, 10 a.m., from the announcement of Lollapalooza. Now, will stuff leak out before then? We'll stay here and we'll let you know the second it comes through. I will say it feels like this year, of all the years of Lollapalooza have been around, it feels like the lineup is locked down, more secure. The rumors that we usually hear, and you can go on Reddit or do whatever you want, but the context that we have, it just feels like by now I'd kind of known some of the headliners and had to hold off on saying it on the air. Be careful. I don't have any in my head right now. I have nothing.
Wow.
I got nothing. You got anything?
I don't know any of the headliners. There's a few bands that I know that I know are playing because I know them.
Well,
but
just because you said the sentence, now I know who's going to be there because I know the bands that you know on that kind of personal level.
These are different bands.
Yep. So now I know those bands too, and now we all know.
Military Gun played last year.
Yeah. So last year we had Blink and the Killers and Deftones, and so we'll see what happens this year as the lineup comes out. Lauren will be in here, and we'll just all kind of see together. Again, unless things come out earlier, do you have a prediction, Kenzie, on who do you think is going to play Lollapalooza, who they're going to announce?
I have 2 headliner predictions. Okay? I don't know about any other bands. I get excited when I see them announced. My 2 headliner predictions are Fall Out Boy
Okay.
and, on a completely different tip, Lady Gaga. Those are my
Okay.
2 because she's recently trying to make her comeback. Fall Out Boy, Chicago Boys did Riot last year. I do think they would do Lala this year. And then Lady Gaga has recently been trying to put herself back out there musical-wise, and I could see her kind of kicking off at Lala and then announcing, like, you know, a new tour string after that or whatever.
Got it. Case, do you have anybody you think they will announce?
I have a headliner prediction.
Okay.
A band that has not played Lollapalooza in 12 years and a band that I feel is due. I think Imagine Dragons are going to headline. They haven't played Lolla since 2013.
They have not announced the tour yet this year.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't feel like they have anything going on this summer. They've kind of owned Tinley Park the last few years. I remember being at Macklemore and Imagine Dragons a few years ago. Very fun time. Kenzie was there as well. Very fun show. I feel like this is the year they come back to Lolla.
Okay. I got one in my mind.
Okay. As you stroke your chin skeptically.
Well, I was thinking about it for a minute. I was trying to think of a prediction, and I could, throw some out there. But I think, and I have sources, by the way, that I have contacts with. I will not reveal them because they wouldn't be sources if I reveal them. But I think you're going to see, and we thought this band was done forever at this point. They've done everything you can do. And because of a certain situation, I thought that they would never get back together again. But why not one at Lollapalooza? Why not one in at least one of the band members' hometowns? Tom Morello, I think we're getting Rage Against the Machine this year. I think we're getting Rage.
Funny, you're the second person to say that to me this morning. I was talking to Tom in the hallway, who works here, and he said the same thing to me.
Really?
Yes, and I know
Do you
nothing.
think Brian told him that this morning?
I talked to Tom in the bathroom. We were next to each other, and I said, start spreading Rage Against the Machine around. Maybe we can get them. I think for this reason, and the reason I'm talking about is when they had the reunion tour a few years ago, and Zach De La Rocha, right on stage here at the United Center, had a massive, almost debilitating knee injury.
I was there. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
The first show of their reunion tour. And then they went on and did a bunch of dates with him sitting. And then Tom Morello hurt himself. And, they're all about 60 years old now and 35 years of just literally raging, no pun intended there. But they, I feel like they're now doing whatever they're doing and they probably can't do it again. But I think one show could do it, and Lollapalooza, Rage Against the Machine. Just keep that in your back pocket.
Well, the first time they reunited was in 2008 at Lolla, and it's one of the craziest sets in the history of the festival. I mean, fences were broken, people were trampled, everybody made it out okay, but it's one of the gnarliest things that's ever happened in Grant Park.
Yep. We'll keep an eye an hour away. The Lollapalooza announcement right here live on Q101, us and Lauren, so stay here for that. I thought we were done talking about Gene Hackman. Yesterday, we discussed how it looks and appears that the will is a very confusing situation on who's going to get the money. He has 3 grown children, but because he left everything to his wife, that they wouldn't get anything. However, she also died, so there's going to be a fight for that $80 million. Now there's mystery surrounding Gene Hackman's death. I thought we were done with it, but now it seems that a doctor claims she called him after police say she died. So I don't know. Now we're saying we thought she died first of this bizarre rodent virus illness, and then he died because he has Alzheimer's disease, and she was his caregiver.
Right. So then he was stuck not being able to take care of himself, obviously, with Alzheimer's. But what's crazy about this, so they put the timeline out of her time of death, right, based on autopsy. And then the doctor's like, well, I got a phone call after you're saying she was dead from her. So now we don't know when she died. We don't know if she died first, and they're kind of back. I don't want to say it's square one because I think there's a little bit more information than that, but like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, it's very, very strange. After the show, this kind of broke this news yesterday, and I went through the case. We were sitting in the room, and I said, how old are his kids? Because he was 95, and none of them checked in on him. None of them called after a week and a half, possibly, of her and him being dead. And no one checked in until then a groundskeeper found the bodies. And I said, I don't know what happened there, but Case looked up the kids. How old are they?
65, 62, and 58.
A long wait for that $80 million.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
And what did Gene Hackman say about being a dad?
We found this Entertainment Weekly article that not only listed his kids' ages, but also a quote from Gene Hackman in 2000 resurfaced from the Irish Independent, one of my favorite publications, where Gene Hackman said, quote, "It's tough being the son or daughter of a celebrity. I couldn't always be home with them when they were growing up. And then, living in California, they've always had my success always hanging over their head."
I've always said this. It sucks being the kid of a legend.
Oh, whatever. I don't want to hear about it. I just don't.
You can never do anything. Sure, could you sit on the money and have a good time? Well, these kids weren't even getting the money.
They are successful Nepo babies out there who've done their own thing. And sure, they can't go, I'm 100% self-made. But they've still had a very successful life.
But they don't do anything on their own. Like you just said, Nepo babies, they got some money, they became an influencer or whatever, or an actor. But they wouldn't have had that without their dad. And they can't live up, or their mom, and they can't live up to whatever their success was, usually. It's very rare that the kid passes up the legend. Let's go to Michael Jordan for a second.
Okay, let's go to him.
Do I have that audio of the DUI from his son?
Let me see what I can do for you.
But isn't it like, it's kind of like an a-holy thing to say, like, well, they've always had my amazing shadow over their head. Only the kid's allowed to say that. You can't be like, well, they've had to live with my incredible talent, so it's a tough life for them.
But
like,
it was Gene Hackman, and
Right,
he's preaching the truth.
Hell of an actor.
You can't say that. You could say, I feel like they've had a tough life because they've been judged heavier, but you can't throw your talent in. Like, they have to say that.
Here is Marcus Jordan.
See, that's the life
See?
Marcus Jordan lives.
So, Marcus, I'm sorry, you're his son.
Sorry, you're not the guy I want to talk to. My bad. What's up, man?
When he got pulled over for the DUI and said this wonderful phrase to the officer.
You want to check under my nuts, too?
Gotta look.
Yeah. And the thing is, with being an actor, or let's say an influencer, whatever you become from a famous person, legend, parent, Marcus Jordan could never get a better jump shot. He can't become a better basketball player. He could work all he wants, but no one's going to be Michael Jordan. At least maybe Gene Hackman's kids could have found some avenue. And I don't know what they do. I don't know if that's their profession.
Sorry, I don't have their LinkedIn pages pulled up.
Well, let's pull them up. let's see what they're doing. But they were certainly like in their 60s waiting for that $80 million, and they weren't in the will. That's rough.
Well, somebody just texted in and said, well, what about MJ's kids? And I go, Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson? I don't know how to answer this question. I'm not sure how to. But Paris is now fully recovered, and she's engaged, and she's in a band, so she seems happy.
She played picnic a few years ago. So
She did. Kind of mean to me during that time, but it was fine.
I don't
Besides
remember
that, she's doing fine in life.
I remember her being super nice.
Not to me.
Well, she didn't
Maybe
come up
that was
and
your
she didn't come up and say hi to you.
I'm not saying she's mean. I'm saying she was mean to me, and I was the biggest supporter of her being there, so
Yeah.
that kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's still disappointing.
It was very disappointing.
So we'll keep following the saga of Gene Hackman and who gets the money and what the kids do and all that, but it's very tough being the son or daughter of a legend. I don't know about the kids of the Black Keys, but you can go see the Black Keys with special guest Gary Clark Jr. at Northerly Island. I love that lineup. I love that bill. Wednesday, September 3rd. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. We got free ones from our great friends in Live Nation. 312-591-8300. Call right now. Caller 10 is at the Black Keys from Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 and the Lollapalooza announcement about 20 minutes away. Lauren's going to come in. We're all going to hang out and just kind of see it all together. It'll be like a live view, a first listen or a first view, if you will, of the lineup of Lollapalooza at 10 a.m. with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. First, let's get to some takeaways from today's showcase. What do you got?
Jackie in Wheeling checked in her takeaway. Robert E. Lee wore board shorts while fighting in the Civil War.
They're
And
jams.
they're called jams.
They were jams back then. Duh.
Dumbass.
I remember Ken Burns covered that pretty deep in his Civil War documentary.
When they approached the line in their jams,
Billabong.
Volcom board shorts.
they knew they had them licked with their jams. All right. Kenzie, what do you got?
Takeaway from Double Features. Mike, Forever 21 doesn't sell clothes that are case-shaped.
No, they do not.
Timu does, though.
Yeah,
so there you
thank
go.
God.
Finally, takeaway from Kevin, the leader of Kevin's. Brian's memory. Son of a bitch.
Jonas, son of a bitch.
All right. What do we got on the podcast, Case?
Well, it's a loaded podcast because it is a Tuesday, and so there's a new Kenzie's Crimes up there waiting for you. I would say one of the more interesting Kenzie's Crimes that we've ever heard on the Delphi
Thank you,
murders.
Case. You usually don't dive into my crimes like that. A compliment.
I'm a big fan. Love it.
Oh, that's nice.
So surprised. It's great.
I just felt very good about myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right.
Enjoyed the Kenzie's Crimes. For the first time ever, we had to re-pour one out for somebody. There's just a company out there that loves filing bankruptcy, and we had to pour one out for them again. And also, if you missed it, Brian did unleash his Disturbed Alan Parsons Project mashup on the world, and you can listen to that on the Brian and Kenzie podcast.
And someone asked for it, by the way. Lots of people say, like, no one asked for this. Well, you know what? Someone did. And I did it. And there you go. Coming up, Lauren, and of course, the Lollapalooza lineup less than 20 minutes away.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.